So what kind of transformation do I have here? Let's not stretch. Vertical translation 2 units down. So what would my vertex be? 0 and -2. And then what would my step pattern be? 1, 3, 5. Okay? So as you all agreed with me that my step pattern did not change, right? So if I have my points here, make sure you include always values on your X and Y axis. So I know that's a 6. Okay, so my vertex is at 0, -2. Okay, so my vertex is right here. And then what happens after I locate my vertex? Up 1 over 1. Up 1 because it's positive. The step pattern is positive. So I'm going to have to go up 1 over 1. Right? Same to the other side. Okay? Then from the new point, I go up 3 over 1. And if I have room, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. So I have room for another one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. So you see that my parabola looks like this. Okay? So all what happened is I actually moved it down 1 unit. I didn't flip. It's not opening down. It's just moved down. Okay? Are we okay with this? All right. Now the other type of transformation is if that value that I'm adding or subtracting is inside my bracket. Okay? So the first one we saw was outside. So the first one we saw was y equals x squared plus k. Okay? So you see it's not under the square, it's outside. But right now we're going to look at what happened if your value that you're adding or subtracting is inside your bracket under the square. Okay? We call that letter h. So the formula is x minus h squared. Okay? X minus h squared. So let's look at, before I fill anything out, okay, let's look at what happened to my original graph if I do this. Okay, if I have x minus 2 squared, x minus 4 squared, and so on and so forth. Okay, so together we're going to look at, using Desmos, what happens. So if I look at, sorry guys, this. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. So the first one is y equals bracket. Can you guys help me because I can't see x minus 2 and then squared. Okay, I can't change the color. Okay, let me just do this again. Okay, what happened from the red, eyes on the board please. What happened from the red graph to the blue graph? What do you see happen? Move to the right, how many units? 2. What's my vertex now for the blue one? 2, 0. Okay, where do you think that 2 is coming from? The -2 that's right here. But why is it 2? I'll explain that in a second. Okay? All right, let's look at the second question. Y equal x minus 4 squared, is that right? So can you compare the red one to the green one, or the green one to the red one? What happened to the green? It moved how many units? 4 units to the right again. Okay? So if the other one that's moving up and down is called vertical translation, what do you think this one is going to be called? Because it's right and left. What do we call that? So if the other one was vertical because it was up and down, this one is left and right. So what do we call that? Horizontal translation. So your graph is actually moving horizontally. Okay? Either to the right, or we're going to see the ones that they're going to move to the left. Okay? Let's look at equals. Can you tell me what's the next one? What do we see now? It moved to the left. Okay? So we're noticing something here. Eyes on something. That if it's negative inside the bracket, it's moving to the right. Which, did we expect that? Did you guys expect that? You expect it to be to the opposite side, right? Okay. And if it was positive, it moved to the left. Okay? Now the question is, why? I'm going to tell you why right now. Okay? So all what I want you to do right now is look at me and don't write anything down. Okay? So remember that your formula is y equals x minus h squared. So this is your formula. So if x is positive 2, if h is positive 2, okay, eyes on me. If h is 2, and I'm going to come and put 2 here, how would my formula look like? So I'm replacing the h with a 2. X minus 2, right? X minus 2 squared. So h is actually 2. H is horizontal to positive 2, which means to the right. But because of that negative that's already in the formula, it's causing it to look like it's negative. But actually it's not. It's a positive 2. Okay? Because originally the formula has a negative in it. Okay? Now what happened if H was negative 1? And I'm going to plug it in. What do I get? It will be negative and negative, right? And then we know that negative and negative makes positive. So what happened is you're going to see it as x plus 1 squared. Even though you're moving 1 to the left because it's negative 1. Okay? But that negative forced it to be a positive. Does that make sense to you? So if I look at my vertex, okay, what part of the vertex has changed? So this is 0, 0. Then this became 2, 0. Then this became 4, 0. So what part of the vertex is changing? The x or the y? The x. Okay? So the x is changing. Okay? If I'm going to look at the axis of symmetry, what's the axis of symmetry of the red one? 0. What's the axis of symmetry of the blue one? 2. What's the axis of symmetry of the green one? 4. So you see that the axis of symmetry is changing for each one of them. What's the axis of symmetry of the purple one? Negative 1. Okay? So we see that when we horizontally change, the axis of symmetry change. Okay? So let's go and fill things up. All right. So remember, it's because of this negative that things are messed up. Okay? So the h value here is 2. Direction of opening was what? They were all up. Okay? They were all up. If you go back here, they were all opening up. Okay? What's my vertex for this one? 2, 0. What was my axis of symmetry? X equals 2. And then we're going to say it's a horizontal translation. Okay? And then we're going to call it 2 units to the right. Okay? Horizontal translation. How about the C? What is the H value for C? 4. Which direction of opening? Vertex? 4, 0. Symmetry? X equals 4. And it's a horizontal translation, 4 units, it should say, not 2 units. To the right. Okay. The next one, the H value is -1, right? It's opposite to what you see for the H. Same direction of opening. My vertex is -1, 0. My axis of symmetry is X equal -1. And we call it horizontal translation 1 unit, so you see it's positive, to the left. Okay, and the last one, the H value is -3. Direction of opening is still up. The vertex is -3, 0. And the axis of symmetry is X equals -3. And I have a horizontal translation of 3 units to the left. So, I just want to take you back for a second, and we have looked at the vertex, right? And we said the vertex is X and Y. In the previous page, we said that the Y value is the same as the K, right? And in this one, the H value matches the value of the X, right? Of the vertex, yes? So that makes the vertex H and K. Do you remember yesterday when I showed you the vertex point and I told you I'm going to label it H and K, and I told you you'll see why it's H and K? It's because in the formula, right, the formula that I usually use for my form, it has H and K. So it's easy. If I see the H and K, I can find my vertex. So the vertex is represented by H and K. So when H is greater than 0, then the parabola shifts which way? To the right. How is it going to look like inside your bracket? Is it going to look negative or positive? So it looks like this. Okay? When H is less than 0, so when H is negative, the parabola shifts left. And how will it look like inside your bracket? It's going to look like positive. Okay? Because 2 negatives makes a positive. So the value of h describes the horizontal translation of the parabola. It provides the value of the axis of symmetry. We see that there is a relationship between the h value and the axis of symmetry. Okay? And is the x value of the vertex. Okay. So in this case, what do you see in the first example? What kind of transformation do you see? 1, 2, 3, multiple? You see 2? Okay, what are they? What letter do they represent? What does that 2 here represent inside the bracket? What letter? K is outside, remember? H. So this is your H. And then this is your K. Alphabetical order. HK. So if I talk about my transformation, right? I'm gonna say I have horizontal H, horizontal translation. What do you say? 2 units to the left. Exactly. Right? Do we understand that? No. Okay, look here. If it's positive inside the bracket, that means I'm going to the left. Because technically speaking, it's a negative 2. Okay? Negative and negative makes positive. Okay? How about the K value? What does the K value do to my graph? We just did that. So vertical translation. How many units down? 3 units down. We're putting two things together here. We're putting what we learned in the previous page and what we learned in this page. Okay? What would be your vertex here? Opposite to vertex is going to be negative 2. What's the K value? Negative 3. So that's where my vertex is. Negative 2, negative 3. Because you guys remember I told you right here, right, that yours is opposite to what you see. So if it's positive, that means H is negative, right? That means here, because it's positive inside the bracket, that means H is negative.
And then the 3 doesn't become positive.
No, because it's actually, if you go back here with the K value, you're adding a K value. So the K value matches the same sign. So only H is the one that you're going to flip the sign. Okay? Before I graph this, let's do some quick exercises here. Y equals x minus 1 squared plus 2. Tell me what your vertex is. Just don't write anything and look here. Tell me what your vertex is. 1, 1, 2. What's your vertex here? What is it? I can't hear you. -1 and -2. What's your vertex here? 3 and -2. Okay? So you're going to take the value inside the bracket and then you're going to switch its sign. And the k value stays the same. Are we good with that? Okay. So these are on the side notes. Okay, so the vertex is -2, -3. Okay, what's my step pattern? 1, 3, and 5. It's not going to change. It's 1, 3, 5. Okay, -2, -3. I'm going to have to move it this way. I'm going to move. Okay, so -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, -1, -2, -3, 2, 3. To locate the vertex, you're going to have to do -2, which is right here. And then -3. So you're going to have to go down 3. So your vertex starts right. I located my. Do we all know how to locate the vertex? Point on the graph. Okay. So I have the vertex -2 and -3. Then the step pattern says I have to go up 1 over 1. I have to do the same thing on the other side, so up 1 over. Then I have to go up 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. Then if I have more room, I can go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. So you see that my graph here looks like this. At 0, 0, you're you move down. Okay? Now let you graph this, graph it, try the next one, and come and show me.